on you. I got my mindset on you. And it's gonna take a ghost, a whole bunch of precious ghosts to do it, to do it, to do it, to do it, to do it right. And we're talking about funerals.
Yep. Let's play the intro and get this shindig started.
Oh
Everyone
yeah.
thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, 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 my lovelies. Welcome back to another episode of Corpse Garden Chronicles. I get my favorite let me rephrase that. I get one of my most favorite people back tonight. I miss doing the show with him, but I have enjoyed doing the show with my husband.
Oh, you're
He's
so
not here tonight
nice.
to do it with us.
Oh, I didn't know he
Um,
passed.
no, he didn't pass.
Oh,
He just
okay.
went to the store. He
Oh,
went to get
okay.
groceries.
Well, if he doesn't bring back the milk, you know what's going to end up happening.
His uncles are going to go hunt his ass down for me
Exactly. Exactly.
because then there will be a problem. Because, yeah. But either way, I know we are going into the major holidays and
Yep.
the show is kind of morbid. But I also know that I have had two very loved ones on New Year's Day before because Granny made it through Christmas and she couldn't go any farther. So, yeah. And I know we haven't done an episode of just straight going through explaining play by play what happens at a funeral. But in this episode, we are going to go through and explain from our point of view. And I want you to understand as we go through this, we are not saying your religion and your ways of doing your funerals are wrong. This is how we do ours. And it's just an idea to get you started if you are trying to figure out how to proceed and you've suddenly been put in the situation where you have to make a funeral happen because you're the one in charge of your loved one's body after they have passed away. I just want to make sure that is clear. And I have also, there will be an excerpt from this wonderful Woodville Cemetery webpage I found earlier that gave an excellent explanation. And no, I was not looking for an Ohio place at all, but they had like a beautiful explanation of exactly what I was looking for. And I put the link to the whole article, which I hope if you watch us, you go back and read their full article and see a brief history of how funerals have worked throughout time from Egyptian era to how we started using commercial funeral homes.
Right.
But in this episode, Paul and I, because he doesn't know yet, but he's going to give his insight as well as I'm going to give mine, and I'm going to give a journey, and you're going to go through my journey with me, and you're going to go through part of Piles because I'm pretty sure he has some insight. He always has great insight on from his
What?
point of view.
No, I would never ever have any insight into how we need to really think about my grandfather's passing or my grandmother's passing, and my grandfather passed on New Year's Eve and he went
Mhm.
into the hospital on Christmas Eve. So this is a very, very hard time of year for us in my family. And this will be 15 years that the wonderful, by golly, what a guy should have done, man, has been gone.
And it is officially 25 and 24 for mine and Josh's, my mom and his dad, and about 16 for my dad. Now, when we get to explaining, in my little script thing, explaining my dad, I need you to understand I am not going to show any pictures. I'm just going to give a brief explanation. And this is a thing that can happen. It did happen to us. And it is a possibility because I know my dad's not the only one that had to go through brain cancer and had to go through a long trip to get back home to be buried by his mom like he wanted. So, uh, first, I'm going to read this excerpt. That way, we have a beginning. Well, where I wanted to like start from the Woodville Cemetery. Explains to us the oldest funeral home in the United States began in 1759 in Williamsburg, Virginia. It started by a cabinet manufacturer, Anthony Hay, who made coffins as a sideline. Prior to the mid 1800s, women were in charge of preparing the deceased. Many communities had a group of women who came in to help with the laying out of the dead, who were then placed in the parlor or nicer room of the family home. The body was closely observed for 3 days to make sure the person didn't wake up from a deep sleep or illness before the burial. Thus, the term wake that we today for visiting and viewing the deceased. This was followed by a procession to the church, cemetery, or burial grounds. The only person involved outside of the family was the cabinet maker who measured and built the coffin. With the establishment of organized cemeteries in the late 1800s, the funeral industry took hold, including mortuary science and creating a predominantly male based trade. An undertaker was literally a person who undertook the task of funeral planning, taking the burden of responsibility off the family. Since it was very common for a cabinet maker to make coffins, it made sense for them to branch out into the undertaking business. But the furniture business often remained their primary occupation. At the end of the 19th century, undertaking was becoming a full time business, and coffins were starting to be manufactured commercially. In the links, I have the full article that I definitely recommend. The cemetery itself is Middleburg Heights in Ohio. The the Woodvale in Middleburg Heights, Ohio. They have a gorgeous webpage, and they are they they're actually very helpful at explaining. Hi, Brandon. Your great grandmother died when you were 7. I was 12 when I lost my mom. We are explaining step by step on how to do funerals, but with our insight and our journeys in having funerals. I was giving a brief insight on how it all began with the actual the funeral homes and funeral services as we know today. So, have did did you know any of those facts before now?
I think I might have come across some of it, but to tell you, yes, officially, it's one of those things that I know so much that it kind of leaks out, and then I find it on the floor. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, that to tell you, I know that mourning and funerals have been around for centuries on top of centuries on top of centuries, and everybody does it differently. Cultures do it differently, and it's just amazing how when you think, oh, okay, well, it's just another funeral, it is never just another funeral, because
no,
you have to understand, is it dealing with cremated, is it dealing with the actual person, is it open casket, closed casket, were they able to make the person look like the person? And sometimes you don't need a open casket under the circumstances of what had happened.
no. That dude, how I got one of the things that had got me started on this was let's see, I'm trying to get it to come up. There we go. This book, From Here to Eternity by Caitlin Doughty. I just um she had other books and hold on, I'm waiting for it to load. There we go. She had this book out and I'm like, I want to know how it works. So I had bought this one and I'd read it to find out more. And now we're on this journey because I decided let's help teach as well as learn.
And that's a wonderful thing, because even though that you're a teacher of something, you're still going to be a person that has the opportunity to learn in all these different parts to how a funeral can go. Because
Yes.
when we get down to my point, I know something that a lot of people don't know about a funeral.
Okay.
I'll wait.
Um,
Let the suspense build.
Alrighty. So, in From Here to Eternity, I definitely recommend checking out that book and you'll find out more about what Kyle was talking about because that was a great wealth of knowledge because she went to these places and she learned how it was done. She crawled into caves. She took wild she took animals to funerals to be able to learn what's happening. It was amazing. And she didn't scoff at how they did it. She's like, okay, what do I need to do to be respectful here? Well, we are not going to talk about the possessed here. We are not talking about the afterlife here. We are talking about what your family needs to do to take care of your life. Okay? Well, your dead body afterwards.
And
And
be it
yeah.
a funeral or a celebration of life.
Mhm. So we are now 245 years later, in the funeral industry, and we're going to start with one of my experiences. So my mom had bad asthma. She was not able to be treated as a child because they did not have the ability or the know-how to take care of her asthma the way it should have been. And now the medical technology is so much farther that my kids have their asthma under control. But her lungs shut down and she couldn't breathe. We thought it was a normal asthma attack. The inhalers weren't working, and dad was trying to put on his shoes, and we're trying to figure out how to get her in the car to get out the door. And next thing we know, she sits down. She says, she just smiles up, and it's sort of one of those glowing smiles. And then she's gone. And we did CPR, and we called the paramedics, and they came and they did everything they could, and we followed them to the hospital. And she was admitted. Excuse the picture. Some of the pictures I have to add something to before I can download them to do any of the things. And I chose a cute ghost. They admitted her, and they did the best they could, and they could not help her. And she was gone. And they had us sitting, we were sitting in the waiting room waiting, and then they took us to this pink room at Erlanger. I don't know if it's still pink, but I knew something was wrong. I was 12 and something was just wrong and I didn't understand. And next thing I know, my uncle's walking in and he sits down with us and they tell us what happened and that there was no way. So the thing I want you guys to understand, whether you're 7, whether you're 9, whether you're 12, you will not be able to easily deal with the just finding out that your loved one has passed away. It's not an easy thing. Sometimes you can just still think clearly and get all the things done, and then afterwards you just break down. And other times you just break down right then, and you can be inconsolable for a little while, and it'll be hard. But how you deal with death is how you deal with death. Um, you have anything you want to add in this area before we move forward about the beginning of finding out your loved one has passed away?
Grandpa had cancer. We knew it was coming. We knew for a very long time. Grandma had Alzheimer's. You lose somebody with Alzheimer's way before you lose somebody with Alzheimer's. Does it make it easier? Yeah. You get
Yes.
time to brace for impact. Absolutely, I will say that through and through. Oh, look, it's a mini me. But when it comes down to death, Grandpa had cancer, went in Christmas Eve, passed away New Year's Eve, and I had the opportunity to go see him. Did I? No, because I wanted to remember him the way he was. That doesn't mean I didn't talk to him. That just means I wanted to remember him that way. When you're able to brace yourself for impact, it makes it so much easier because you might already start the grieving process before the person has passed. Is it any better? Maybe a little bit, but it's still going to hurt. It's still going to catch you. There's going to be things. So that's why I'm going to add into that because I lost a buddy in June. And when I lost a buddy in June, he, 1 second he was talking to everybody. Next second, he was gone. No bracing. It's hard. And that whole circumstance right there, then you got to figure out what the next steps are, but you're not ready because you didn't think it was going to happen. You didn't see the writing on the wall because there was no writing. So when we get into talking about funerals and stuff like that, you have to understand there's a couple different ways that a circumstance can come after you. And when you have two different ways that it can come after you, it absolutely can affect you in two different ways on how your judgment is. And it's okay to talk to people early on and say, this is how I would like to be remembered. Even though you're perfectly healthy, anything can stop.
Oh yeah.
That's where I want to take that right there.
I was 17. My dad had brain cancer. I did not understand. I tried to read books, what they had at the library. I tried to talk to adults, but the problem is a lot of the adults didn't want to talk with me. And my dad had went through 3 brain surgeries of brain cancer, and then he had a seizure, and then he passed. And uh sorry, we got a message in the army, and I'm not uh it's not loading properly into my brain, and I'll have to figure that out later after the show. Cody, if you will please private message us later.
He's already
Private
talking to me.
message file. We can get that
And,
taken care of. Now,
oh yeah.
from there, I'm just going to stop there because that'll come back and play later in my script of this talk for the show. And he, we had to figure out how to have his funeral, and there was some mishaps, and we had to figure out how to get him back home. But that'll come back later as I go through my little thing here. Now, once your loved one has passed away, they will be either at the hospital or at the nursing home or wherever, because you may know that they're going to pass away. You may not know, and it could be a surprise. But please, 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 ahead of time, talk about how they want to be taken care of after they pass away. Do they want to be cremated? Do they want to be buried? Do they want to be buried by their mom? Do they want to be buried at a family cemetery? Uh, do we, what would they like most? And then you will have an understanding. It helps if there's a will. We're just going to assume from here forward, from one of our previous episodes, that you have taken care of, you've done the will, you have that all that knowledge, and we are going to move forward with what we need to do with our loved ones.
Go out and get a living will. You never know. That's exactly what I'll tell everybody. I'm not promoting and saying, hey, I want you to spend money that you don't have. But I will tell you that it is one of those things that it is not um, something that you want to play with the game and find out later. There's too many questions that a will could bring light to. So go out, get it, spend a little time, really think of everything. The person that's typing up your will and helping you with it is going to ask you a whole bunch of questions that your local, state, and government will want to know the answers to.
Yes. So moving forward, um, a representative at the funeral home will sit down with you and talk with you about how to make your family members' wishes uh, become a reality. Because at this stage, if you want to be, you need to decide. You need to already know, and from there, they'll help you make sure they get a casket. They'll help you coordinate with the cemetery. They may already have a plot bought. You will have to know ahead of time about what they would like or what they have already. They may want to be buried by their mom or wife. Find that out ahead of time. And then from there, you will either do that or you will get them cremated. Even if they're cremated, you can still have a funeral. It's just not as urgent. Be
Mm.
Well, for us, even with the funeral, we had a family member that was this last funeral we had a family member that we had to wait on.
Mhm.
So everything had to be put to the side, put on hold until he could get down. Because just because he had to do his job in an alternate state does not mean he couldn't be there too. But the reason I say it's not as urgent when the you have the time for everybody to get there with while you're waiting for them to be cremated. You can let them know, and if you have family members from out of state like we do, it's one of those things that doesn't have to go like, hey, we'll be doing this in 3 days. You can wait the full week or whatever until you get their ashes back.
So the reason that I had that look on my face is
Yeah.
because this is where having so many funerals underneath my belt, and I say this, um, comes into play. You're right. Absolutely right. But there is a circumstance where you can have a funeral and not have the ashes. You still have
Yes.
the urn. And this is where a very interesting fact about Amazon. Amazon will ship you a urn in a few days,
Hmm.
right in time for the funeral service. You put it there, and a known fact is that they will take it and they will not put anything in it. They'll put it back in the bag, put it back in the box, and ship it, say that they did not need it. They will return it. And then it goes back on Amazon at a cheaper price because they didn't use it. This is very interesting to me because my mother in law, everybody came up, everybody seen the casket, or everybody seen the urn, everybody paid their respects, this and that. Us knowing that she is still in the back because not every place has a setup to do a cremation. Sometimes you actually have to send people off to be cremated, and then you got to play in that time frame.
Hmm.
So if you've got everything going on and you got everything, you can put it as a little secret of, oh yeah, there it is, this and that. You can put a little piece of paper with her name or his name
Hmm.
right there, and you could get away with this. And everybody, it does not take away from the Disney magic, as
No, it does not.
as the funeral director said.
It's just a matter of, okay, Brandon, let me add something here before we move forward. We do not talk about our religious beliefs, except I will say at a later point that certain things are added to our funeral, but we are not going to have a conversation about how we believe in God. We are not going to talk about how many funerals we have had in our lives. I'm just going to say some people have had more funerals than others in their lives, and they do not know or understand how it works. And I was talking to a friend, and I that is why this episode is being made.
And I don't know if she froze up or if I froze up. But well, since I don't know if she froze up with her internet or if it's my internet, um, and we'll figure it out here in a second. Yep. So her internet did go down, unfortunately. Um, so I will go ahead and I'll just say, when it comes down to funerals, there are different types. Um, one of the biggest things, if you can get a will around, it is very helpful to talk to where you think you want to have the funeral. Because if you think that you can have the funeral here and you know the director and they've been personal friends or they've been friends of the family or everybody in your family's went to this person, they make it a lot easier for you. Absolutely. And it's great that they make it easy for you because they're going to know tricks. They're going to know what you're looking for. If you get it in a will how you want it, they're going to do it as best as they can. But this is where it comes down to today's society versus the older times. Today's society is the funeral's not exactly about the person. Yeah, it's absolutely everything about the person, but the people that are there are the ones that will get the benefit out of it, being comfort, talking to people, being the ones that absolutely go through and try their hardest to have their little touch on it. Unless you look at them and say, "Hey, you know what? I want Iron Maiden played." Your loved ones might find some of the songs off of the funeral homes list. Once again, there is a whole bunch of different songs that people will see, people will do. And when it comes down to that, it is one of those things that you just got to go along with it and see how it is. But go out, see who your family members have been with, and see what they have liked, see what they didn't like. Here in my area, there's a couple different ones. There's funeral homes that people have absolutely said, yes, it is great. And there's funeral homes that people have looked at and said, try not to do this one, but it is cheaper. So you're also going to look at funeral homes based on that fact. So when your loved one passes away, one of the key factors is trying to figure out all the paperwork. The paperwork is going to be one of the biggest monsters because the funeral home is going to want the death certificate. The death certificate could be sent over to the funeral home, but not always. So it just depends what you have set up in your life for someone else to be able to pick up the pieces and run with it. When it comes down to some of the paperwork and you haven't really done anything, then it's pretty much a guessing game of who does what, where, why, who wants what to work on. I had a friend that her father passed away. He had nothing set up, and it absolutely shocked her of what she had to do and why these people needed this, why these people needed this, and everything. If you don't have something set up for this and you think, okay, I'm fine, it's going to be one of those things that you won't know until you get hit with it again. And that's one of the horrible things about this part of life is that you just might be the unlucky one that has to pick up the pieces and deal with it. So it's it's so important that people actually take that in consideration, because if they don't take it in consideration, you're leaving your loved ones, your friends, your family to figure out a lot of stuff, and they might not have what they thought they needed. Uh, so I'm hoping Jenny gets back, or Friday gets back pretty soon. Give me 1 second here. All right, so I'm back. Had to take a second there. Uh, Starting to become weather that the um ooh, excuse me. I think Friday's just coming back.
Sorry, everything crashed.
There. There. It's okay. I kept it going. We talked about having a will kind of takes the guessing game out of what's going on. And if you know what funeral home you want to go with, it takes a lot more guessing games out. And if they've been really good with their family, they will want to be good with you also. And that is one of the key
Oh yeah.
factors, because they want, of course, they want your business, but they want your business because they had your grandmother, they had your grandfather, they had your great grandmother, they had your mother. All these people have went through them. All these people have done this stuff, and they want everything to be as well as it possibly can for your experience, because it's not it's never
Yes.
a fun thing. Uh
Okay. I'm trying to get back to where we were on my end. Okay. Um there we go. Everything just I apologize again, everything on my end crashed.
yep.
Um from there, uh at the funeral, everybody's funeral is different. At all the ones that I've been to, they've uh they've started out with hymns and favorite songs of loved ones and Bible verses they liked, because my family is majorly Baptist. There were eulogies, people talked about experiences and stuff like that. Things that they wanted to bring to light to make sure everybody knew about why they loved their person who had passed away. And the thing that had surprised me at this last one with grandma is that there was a misunderstanding for years between a couple of family members. And then Martha had went up and she said all the amazing things and all the things that she taught was taught by her, and they never thought to ask. And once they found out that they'd lost so much time, that they could have been a part of everything and they were not forgotten, they were still talked about, all the good things, all the things that happened with her, and grandma and those family members were told to the children they had realized that they were never replaced. They were just added to. So sometimes funerals can bring light to situations that you never knew and let you know that you should have just asked the questions. You should have just talked about it, like calmly talked about it, about situations that happened in your life before they passed away. Because sometimes those missed experiences you regret and you didn't know you should have tried to have. Um, are yours family the funerals you've had similar in those aspects or other
Um,
aspects? How they differ?
well, I know that my grandmother and grandfather absolutely had everything together that they possibly could. And the funeral director absolutely, for years and years of experience doing it, had the right answers and the right questions to ask. So it went very, very smoothly. In fact, he gave a couple tips that no one would really think about. And that is one of those things, you know. And he absolutely was really welcoming with this. And then I've been at funerals where they had to really fast kick it around, and the immediate family, along with um, other parts of the family, did not see eye to eye, and the funeral director kind of like had to be like, well, this is the wife of the deceased, and this is the family of the deceased. The family's paying for this and set this whole thing up. And the wife kind of had different ideas on the way things needed to look. So
Mm-hmm.
it was not exactly butting heads, but there was two different outlooks on it. And the biggest thing I could think of was uh I'm pretty sure he would have went this way, me being an outside friend. That's just the way you look at it. You know, sometimes you look into funerals, and we haven't even touched on the special funerals like a firefighter's service funeral. That
No.
the funeral is actually, the viewing is actually at the fire station, and it is guarded 24/7 or 24 hours by firefighters. And there's actually a ceremony, there's actually a whole bunch of things that go down with it. And I know this because last couple years, unfortunately, I've had to go to a couple of them.
And for us, they came with us. He wanted to have his funeral at his family plot. So they joined us at his graveside instead of it being there because he wanted to have it in his family church. He wanted to have it at his family plot. So I haven't been able to experience that, but I do know it was the best feeling to know that they cared and they still uh honored him the way they did. So each that that is amazing. I didn't know that they did that. Um Although I am going to make one request. Guys,
Mm-hmm.
I have had a at one funeral whenever I was younger that the family member had to be taken away by the police. Please, I know you have disagreements and you're not happy with certain things. Please do not be that family member that needs to be taken away by the police. Please try to be respectful and work with your family and grieve with your family. Because, wow. But also, before we move forward, the way your job honors you is amazing because some get a gun salute, some are honored by their body being at the fire hall or wherever. You can also choose to have your family member at your house until it's time to go, or you can have it at a different type of church with a different type of religion. There's even a place up north where you can have a funeral pyre. You can be cremated outside in a funeral pyre. And is your hat green?
What?
Is your hat green?
No, it's white with black.
Wait, black? Okay,
Yep, black.
that is awesome.
Sure. Shirt's green.
Okay, with the way the light was shining on it, I couldn't tell.
It was my eyes.
Yes, my handsome friend, you have wonderful eyes.
You
Okay,
know, they were black like the doll's eyes.
do you want to add anything else before we move on to the where we take them to the cemetery?
I don't know where to put this, so I'm going to throw this right here, and now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you decide that you are going to have a remembrance dinner, as in following the funeral, actually going out, and then you come back to wherever, it could be to the house, it could be down in the basement of the church, could be wherever. Did you know that if you have life insurance and it deals with the entire funeral, that meal that usually people have to pay out of pocket can be snatched up and thrown on the bill for funeral expenses? So when the insurance company is paying for the funeral expenses, that meal goes on that bill.
Dude, that is useful information, and yeah, we're going to get that to that part at the later in the show.
I didn't know where everything, because me and you did not talk about this at all. But
No.
I wanted to make sure that you talk to the right people, and your funeral director should know this. And if they
Mm-hmm.
don't, they can talk to someone else and they can figure out how to make that a funeral expense.
Yes, because
I
like we found out in a previous episode, your funeral director can make so many things happen. They will help you with so many things, and they work magic. And sometimes that magic is sitting there at their desk making a ton of phone calls.
Yep.
But as you move forward, at the end, after you've done the eulogies and you've talked and all that stuff that may happen at the church or wherever you're holding that part of the funeral, whether it be the church, the fire hall, the wherever, the body will be put into the hearse, and it will be brought to the cemetery. And in some of the cases, the cemetery can be 5 minutes down the road. In the last case, the cemetery was about 2.5 hours away. So we followed the hearse and we ended up at the plot, and we ended up waiting for everybody to figure out how to get there because at the last cemetery, it was actually a family plot on land. In other instances, it could be like behind me at at a cemetery that your family is at, or if you're new to the area and it what you have chosen depends on your family as well. And okay, 2 seconds. So, um, I misspelled that word, but either way, the there will be a pool and there will be pulleys. I should have found a picture for this. And the grave and the casket will be set on the pulleys, and you either have your pastor or a family member or whoever say the final words before they are lowered down. And many people have flowers, and they can be put on the casket at the beginning or while the pastor is talking or the friend is talking or whatever, or at the end afterwards. And I have found, and it confused me, and well, it confused a lot of my family at that point. They don't always let you watch the body be lowered in because of one reason or another, people not being safe around there or trying to jump in the hole with the family member or whatever. And then they start adding the dirt and everything afterwards. Now, you can go back home or you can go to a reception, and sometimes the reception's at a church, sometimes it's at a house, sometimes it's at a restaurant. I've had it in the funeral home, I've had it at the church, I've had it at the friend's house where we had buried the family members. Well, the family member's house who had the plot of land where the graves were at. And there can be food, there can be drink, and everybody can talk about their memories of the loved ones. Ridiculous things, mishaps, whatever.
Yeah.
And but the variation in this is if you choose to be cremated, there can be still be a viewing. You can ask them to set the family member up so people can come in and say goodbye, or you yourself can go back and say goodbye one last time before they are cremated, or they can just cremate the body and let you know when that is done, and you will receive a black box with the bag of ashes, which are basically the bones that are left over and they've been sent through a cremulator. Basically, high powered ninja blender that will outdo any ninja blender you have. And there, by law in most states, there's a certain size that the bones can be when they're ground down. So Uh, in other countries, you break down the bones with a little hammer yourself to bring them down to the right size to put in your urn. It all depends on where you are. Now, that urn, you can. Okay, I am not bringing light. You guys have probably seen my Melody water bottle. You can get just about any type of urn you want. You can get Hello Kitty urn, you can get an Ingle urn, you can get an urn with big mouth bats. You could probably get one with skulls if you wanted, or owls. I personally want a one that has Hello Kitty and Melody having tea and cake. Your ashes can be transferred, and your family members can keep you wherever they want. In one instance, down the road at a family member's house, there's 3 containers of ashes in Uncle and Aunt's house, right in the closet, all together where they're safe. In some instances, for us, my father-in-law's on a shelf in the house next door, and he just hangs out there. Where
Can I
you
do a
put your loved one is where you put your loved one.
Can I do a PSA here?
Please do.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want you guys to care about your loved ones. Please understand, if you go to a loved one's house to clean it out and you find some really cool jars, please look on the bottom of the jar and see if there's a name. Do not bring it to Goodwill, donate it. Goodwill not be able to open it, cleans it up, sticks it on the shelf, and then, 6 weeks later, this guy comes up and buys your Uncle Murphy. Because your Uncle Murphy might want to travel with friends and meet new people, but I'm just telling you, if you do not want something like that, please figure out where you're going to go and who is going to inherit your family member.
Yeah.
Goodwill is not a drop off your family and see where they can be swooped away. Because I'll
No,
tell you now, that is a very, very sad day when those people finally open a jar and dust goes flying.
we already know which kid gets grandpa. Gets my father-in-law. We already know which kid is taking grandpa home when she moves out. And my mother-in-law passes. We've already got that figured out. But yeah, also, please don't eat your friends' cremains. Their cremated ashes. Please don't eat them. And um please don't randomly, oh, what is all this dirt in here, and just dump out your friend's family member because you thought it was just a whole bunch of dust.
Quit bringing them to Disney.
Yeah,
Because
they can't.
when you sneak them in, they will end up in the trash can. Because once they figure out that that's grandpa or that's grandma, they sweep it up and they throw it in the trash can because they don't know what to do with it properly. Because, you know, it's a whole horror story of, yeah. Now, if Disney wanted to make a big amount of money, I bet you could pay and take reservations to bring your loved ones to a memory garden if Disney had one.
So, in a previous episode of Bloody Binge podcast, Stephen had brought up a good point. Please, uh, Texas A&M has a place for you to put your family members' cremains. Please don't just randomly go out to the football field and dump them out.
Yep.
Ask if they can be there and if there is a place. Your football team may have a special place to respectfully put those ashes.
And
Okay?
if you're going to take them to the Smoky Mountains, check the wind before letting them go, because no one likes Uncle Murphy smacking you in the face. Just putting that out there.
Very true. Although it is hilarious. Oh, and by the way, all pictures shown today are from Canva app, and the information is along the lines. But yeah,
Oh,
let me go through, take another look, see to make sure I have everything.
did we talk about really putting some serious thought into a vault?
Um, not on this episode,
Okay.
but
So
we can.
I just really want a quick touch that there has been a lot of people that have asked, about vaults. Vaults, they try to be waterproof. Time and time again, they will fail. Not saying every single one, just saying a lot of vaults do fail and you do get water in them. Do not be upset if you have to get your loved one back for something. Uh, but I will also add that they have recently, in the last 15 years, absolutely come to put the best pictures on the vaults. Yes, your
Oh yeah.
vault is that picture is going to get covered with dirt, but the picture that was chosen for my buddy was absolutely one of the best pictures because it had the combine, the grain wagon, and the semis. And that was what he lived for and what he died doing. It was very meaningful. You can get him spray paint whatever colors. And I'm just going to say, if you love that vault so much, understand that it's going to get dinged up. It's going to get scratched. It's going to fade. It's going to everything you put in the ground is not going to be beautiful if it has to come and be pulled out. But
Yes.
yes, I truly recommend a vault if a vault area is doable. They have to make vaults that are bigger because they make caskets bigger. So just talk to your funeral director. He'll talk to the cemetery. Everybody will get everything around that when it's time for you, they can get her done really quick and everything is taken care of. And yes, you can even go on Walmart and buy a casket.
Yes. Another thing I wanted to touch on when
Go
it
for it.
comes to setting up your loved one for the funeral, they have makeup artists on at most funeral homes, and all you gotta do is bring the clothes and the picture to them, and they can help set up the makeup. And in
Okay.
some instances, they don't mind letting your loved one or their favorite hairdresser that they like in life come and set their makeup up and set their hair up and get them ready one last time. You just have to talk to the funeral director and find out what you want, what they're what they can work with you about. Um the wake, the viewing can be the one day. It could be 3. It all depends on what is best for your family. And the one of the last points I wanted to touch on is grief. How you grieve is how you grieve. Sometimes you can feel numb and you get all the way through. You get the funeral set up, you get them to their grave, you get them buried, or you get their ashes back. And then after everything's said and done and everybody's went home, it sometimes it doesn't hit you until afterwards, and you just bawl like you are a newborn baby and you don't understand what's happening. And that's fine. Sometimes you're hit right away.
Mm-hmm.
Please remember, give yourself grace. Always give yourself grace, because you never know how you're going to feel and how you're going to grieve. But that
And
is
you don't know
fine.
the trigger.
You're you're not going to. Yes, thank you. Let yourself feel the way you feel.
I will say, when it comes down to grief, learn this phrase very well and understand it. It is okay not to be okay, and I'm not okay today. I might be tomorrow, but down the road, I might not be again. You don't know what's going to be a trigger, and I'll tell you what. When she asked me, "Hey, anybody want to be on this show tonight?" It was not exactly told to me what we're doing. I just like jumping into these episodes because I like this show. I like talking about death. I will tell you that yesterday I had to send some messages to people and flat out tell them I lost my shit. And the reason I lost mine was I'm a professional truck driver, and I went to a place that there was trucks on my left, trucks on my right, and there was going to be a little time till I got out. One semi opened up the tarp, lost the soybeans, and I went to go open the door of my truck to real quick grab some of them, and I was going to hunt my buddy's truck down because that's what we did. He died in June. I lost my shit. I seriously did. So when we say it, it's true. You might be okay today, you might not be. Tomorrow might be a different day. Next week, whatever. But during the holiday season, it is hard because this is what time you get together to see your family and that loved one's not there. Or you think about your family and then you think about their family and it sets you up for a disaster. Does it mean that we are weak? No. Does it mean that this is a pity party? No.
No.
This means that everybody will do it differently. And as I have talked to my doctor, my wonderful health doctor, not mental doctor, I still need to shop for one of those. Um, the conversation me and her had was, you're okay, but you're not okay. And that's okay. It's kind of like what Ralph says, I'm a bad guy, and that's not a bad thing. It truly is one of those things that you don't know when it's going to come and it's going to hit you. And you just got to swallow what you can. If you can lose yourself, lose yourself. If you can't, you're going to hold it till the next time. Don't expect death to be a one thing and done. And
No.
no, a funeral goes on for a very long time past the death. It you might still be dealing with all aspects of funeral into a year from when it happened. And it's okay because your funeral covers the death, the people coming around, the escort, the dinner, the meal, if you have one, all the services that goes with that. And then you also have to deal with the tombstone.
Yes. So when it came to our tombstone for my dad, we were put in charge of that, and my sister and I could not even try to figure it out until we got more stable. Because you know how it is to be young and starting out, and there's like nothing, especially when you find out you're pregnant and you have babies, and they take a lot of money, they take a lot of time, they take a lot of stress. So I know you guys have seen it on multiple episodes. The tombstone that my sister had made for my dad, the Conan tombstone. So that can be gotten at any time. That can be gotten at the beginning. Sometimes they have one there that you find beautiful, or they can literally carve your picture in the tombstone, or they can put your picture on the tombstone. Or you can make a drawing and have it put on there. There's even tombstones in the shape of SpongeBob, PlayStations. How you choose to honor somebody with the tombstone is how you choose to honor them. And a lot of places, monument companies can make different things happen and help you get that one thing that you think would make them happy.
I want to add with this. I had friends that did a memorial company, and it's tombstones. But in their line of business, it was called memorials or memorial stones. They never wanted to just call them tombstones because you're doing a remembrance, a memorial to them through these. Please understand, and this is important, just because your family goes and gets a tombstone for you real quick doesn't mean that that is going to be the tombstone that you stay with. And why is this? Because your family might pass away and they buried you with this person and this person and this person. So sometimes they want to make a family tombstone. And when they make the family tombstone, it is beautiful because you can put numerous names on it. And question is, what do you do with a tombstone that has someone's name and dates on it after they've got it? But you just got a family one. You know that answer, Jenny?
Well, multiple things can be done. It can be brought home and it can be put
Mm-hmm.
in your yard. It can be given as a memorial to your friend's aunt.
Yep. There's another option.
And that is,
You can actually take that stone, call up the memorial company and say, "We don't have a use for this and we don't know what to do with it." Sometimes they will offer you a discount towards the other stone because what they can do is they can carve a square out and they can insert another stone into that stone with a different date and name. And it lowers the price for the next person. So that stone has a secondary purpose to help someone else. There's even people that donate their stones to have this done to help someone else.
Oh yeah.
The things I have learned in my life, and they wonder why I know these things.
I don't wonder why. I just know that I love having you on the show. I am
One,
trying to find. I have posted
what,
a picture about this. I'm just having trouble finding them. But anyway, I'll
one,
post it later.
okay. So, real fast, one of the other things that you could possibly do with a stone, and I know that this is like, what the heck when you figure it out. Monuments, tombstones, this and that. If you look in the pictures behind Jenny or behind Friday, I am so bad at this right now. I'm sorry, my mind is gone. Um, or you look in the picture right underneath me or whatever, you will realize that these stones are multi stones. They are. They are absolutely multi stones. The saddest thing is having one of these knocked over, and you come to realize that one of these were a repurposed stone that was cut down to make the base to the other stone. No kidding. It's
No,
been done.
because you will find. Oh, there it is. That
You
sometimes that there can be uh this tombstone will break and it will be set on top of its broken part. Now this one's a local one that is a multi-person grave. It has the little ones in front of it and it has the big one behind it with the names and stuff. This one's like local just down the road.
um hey Friday, can you pull up my grandparents? I
And
don't
pull up
know.
your grandparents. I
I don't
can let me find them again.
and any of my family members know my face, and if they see the show, they know that I got grandma and grandpa on here
Yeah, you saw them
in the
at
opening.
the beginning in the
Opening
intro
credit.
to the show.
Yep. And I want to bring this up because this is actually really important. When you're talking about cemeteries, you're talking about plots and how you have to purchase these plots and how these plots become your family plots. And you can actually get a number on your plot for this person to be number 7, this person be number 5 in that plot series. It is really important to a lot of people of the placements. But if we can get this pulled up,
I'm working on
oh,
it. It's just
oh, you're fine.
so
You're
many
fine.
pictures.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Um, you can have different stuff put at your plots, protecting your plots. Um, my grandparents have a bench. This bench is for whoever wants to sit on it. and it is made out of granite, I do believe. And here is the kicker. It is sitting on empty plots because they gave the opportunity to the rest of the family that if they did not have a place to go, they had a spot right there to go. So our family might control these plots, but we can place who we want in these plots if it is not their wishes to go. There we go. And that is a couple plots there. And like I said, right there is that bench. And that bench actually is a couple plots that anybody that needs to get buried with our family can get buried in them plots. There's many different families all around our area do this. So as of right now, don't have any idea who's going to get put there. Might be me one day. I highly doubt it because I don't want to go underground. If I had
I
my
don't
way,
either.
I would. If I had my way, I would get some tiki, wooden tikis made, and poured my ashes into tikis, not tell anybody, and hand them out to my friends. That way, they could take tikis on a adventure.
That would rock.
Until you crack the open and come to realize I come to party.
You're always welcome to the party, dead or alive.
Yeah. So, what's your next part? Because I think we jumped around here.
Let's see. I think we've covered all the things that I planned in this episode
Awesome.
because we've killed the whole script and we've added on to different parts. So, okay. I guess from right here, we're going to bid you guys good night. And because I even totally forgot about the ad break. I think I'm just going to go through all of that at the end with the end of show video.
It's gonna be a heck of a party there.
Oh yeah. Well, it didn't help that my internet keeps like doing weird things and you keep on ending up a spinning wheel. Okay. So, where would you like people to find you?
Uh, you can find me on Facebook if you really want to talk to me. I think I'm still the only pile hazard that's on there. Or you can find me here on the Allight Network. You can find me on my show, and hopefully, when I get to my show, which we're going to take a couple weeks off of it, hopefully this whole sinus thing is gone. Because I will tell you right now, I have been doing Vicks sinus stick, and she ain't doing nothing for me tonight.
Okay. You need cetirizine and a couple other things, but that's beside the point. If you guys would like to find me, I'm on Allight Network. I'm at Paycor. I like to hide in the background of the Dorothy Network because they're amazing. Corpse Garden Chronicles, and because there's a group and a page. I'm on Friday with the Library in the Blue Box and author page, Jennifer Elliott. Thank you all for being here. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season.
Seasoning.
I hope your
Yes.
seasonings are awesome.
Yes.
Our condolences to
I
all
want
those.
seasonings when I get cooked and cremated. Put me
Yes.
seasonings.
Yeah, I need some Cajun seasoning. Our condolences to all those who lost loved ones during this
Absolutely.
holiday season.
Yeah. It's a big hit when you lose someone in the holiday season, because as you go every holiday season, it hits you over and over again.
Yes, that is why I have so much problem with Halloween. But I digress. Have the best holiday season you can. And thank you guys for being here. Bye.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Well, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Redoctopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Your King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brick.
You can listen to Retro Octopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.